Why porn is so dangerous is because porn is a super stimulus package. What that means is porn is a hyper stimulus or a super stimulus, and it comes in a packaged form. So if we look at the conditioning of behavior in humans, even animals, it simply follows a stimulus, response, reward pathway that ends up forming a habit or an addiction loop. So we get the stimulus, and in this case, it's a hyperstimulus, which is the pornography. And now why is pornography a hyperstimulus? It's because porn offers a evolutionary trait or an evolutionary drive of procreation, which is the strongest drive and a cultural, biological drive shared across all of humanity to procreate and pass our genes on to the next generation. This is why we live, this is why we hunt, this is why we survive, so that our species can continue. So porn hacks into this because it provides us, especially men, it provides us with a window into fulfilling this drive, but it's an illusory fulfillment of this drive. Our brain doesn't differentiate between reality and fiction. This is because of mirror neurons. We have mirror neurons in the brain that when we watch someone performing an act, these mirror neurons receive the act as if we're the ones performing it ourselves. So if you look at pornography, which is just a conglomerate of sex acts that our other human beings are performing, our mirror neurons are picking this up and not differentiating between the fact that it's on a screen and not ourselves who are performing these acts. So the hyperstimulus hijacks our dopamine reward system and our innate human biological drive to procreate, and it stimulates the neurochemical response pathways. So dopamine, adrenaline, epinephrine, oxytocin, serotonin, all of these neurochemicals and hormones and neuromodulators that are responsible for pair bonding, and prolactin gets released too when a male orgasms, which lowers testosterone and signals to the body that you've just mated, so you don't need to go find a mate, you don't need to perform the act anytime soon. All these neurochemicals affect our biology and our pheromones. Our bodies don't differentiate between whether we're actually having sex or if we're just watching the pornography. So it's a hyper stimulus, and pornography hacks the stimulus response reward conditioning aspect of human behavior. So think about habit formation. Like I just said, habit formation occurs when we have a stimulus, we do the response. So stimulus would be watching the pornography, the response is masturbating, the reward is the orgasm, and then after that cycle, there's the craving, and it's the craving for the stimulus that causes the addiction, and that's the addiction loop. And that's why it's a hyperstimulus package, because it has the stimulus response and the reward is an orgasm, which is one of the greatest feelings that we can feel physically as a human without exogenous substances or compounds like alcohol and drugs. The best feeling, momentary feeling that you can get is an orgasm. So that's very reinforcing of the stimulus and response of the pornography and the masturbation. This is why it's a hyperstimulus response package. And that is why porn is so dangerous on a neurochemical, neurobiological level. But what about for a social and spiritual level? Well, if we look at a social level, pornography is dangerous because it inhibits our ability to pair bond with others. And when we're watching porn and jacking off all the time, we're not so readily able or willing to go and put in the effort to find an in real life partner or girlfriend or mate, because we can so readily access the artificial stimulus through a digital screen or a digital medium. And our brains learn the easiest route to achieving the stimulus response and reward. So if it takes more effort, more steps to attain a girlfriend and to court a woman, and you have to do all these things before you ever get her into your bed, well, our brain will choose the easier path, which is turning on a computer, looking up a hub site, and doing the deed. because that's the quickest avenue to the dopamine stimulus reward response pathway. So it hijacks our brain and it hijacks our neural pathways, and we end up in this repetitive addiction loop, spinning our wheels like a hamster in a hamster wheel, wondering what are we doing with our lives. I hope this video elucidates a little bit of why pornography is dangerous, gets you thinking on how you can maybe break that habit and addiction loop. So I hope this video finds you well. Give me a like and subscribe. Check out this one for more.